talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way as always tonight. With this run of hot weather, there's been plenty of good fishing to match. Bigger kings in the rip, Eildon Yellowbelly finally making their move, and the dusky flathead down in Gippy are absolutely on fire. Tonight we also discuss your chance to have a say whether kayaks should be allowed on Devilbend Reservoir. All that and more, so let's get into it. Boys, Trelly, all the way from Shepparton. Hang on. Stephen, Victor, Trelly, Trellful. I have been listening for the last 6 months. How are you, mate?
Get it right? Yeah. No worries, yeah. Thank you very much, Adam. And look, actually very good to be on air again, but you're mentioning the Devils, your kayak, the man who comes from kayak.
Oh, I'm hanging. I'll be having my say, don't you worry about that.
So yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Now, all the way from Tackle World in Cranbourne, in Dave's absence, a very big welcome to our regular fill-in, Callan Braid Ball. Thanks, mate. You're our number one go-to now, so we appreciate you being here, and another big show.
Thanks for the call-up, boys. Now, I got a few comments from last week that I was a little bit slouched over the couch, so I'll try and sit up nice and straight, posture well, and suck in the beer gut, and we'll see how we go.
Now, before we get into it, tell us, your Tinder surely went nuts after last week's episode.
I had a couple of inquiries, definitely a couple of inquiries.
We'll just leave it at that.
But yeah, can't talk about it on air.
Swipe left.
Fellas, we need to address the elephant in the room.
We do.
Where's David Kramer?
Well, you know, it's a bit of a topic. It's going to be a topic of discussion all the way through tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, well, let's just say by the end of the show, we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Now, summer is not done and dusted. We all thought we're on the back of it.
Yep.
We started to get a little bit of unsettled, a little bit of cold. All of a sudden the heat's come back and the fishing's come back to play the game. Absolutely.
I don't know, down here's been one thing, but up in our neck of the woods, the redfin the catches have been really, really good.
Yeah.
The Murray cod have been on the bite. And I just heard today, I rang the Barmer pub, and there's a bit of a rise coming down the Murray. So so those guys want to get up there and chase a cod. On a rise is always a good thing.
Beautiful. Now, as you know, we pre-recorded last week, and the three of us, Dave, Trelly and myself, we were all down in Tasmania for the Tackle World Conference, and we've got just a little snippet of what we got up to on one of the nights. Hit it, Kev. Now, as you can see, we enjoyed ourselves on one of the night, Trelly, and we had the pirate-themed arrangement going on.
We did, yeah. It was pretty funny. And took ages to wash those dreadlocks that I grew for the night.
Well, I tell you what, we had a bit of fun that night.
Yep.
Now, Charlie, you had a little bit more fun than a few of us put together, and we got a little bit of footage of that. So, Kev, hit it again, mate.
Hang on.
You can't go to Tassie without the Tassie Devil. Charlie, the pirate night went a bit too far.
One eyed really had a few too many rums.
Well, so, I do remember waking up in that position somewhere.
That's it, there you go. So, boys, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Like I said, boys, the weather has finally hotted up and the fishing reports come along to match. We're going to open it with a species, if anyone saw David Kramer's Facebook video during the week, a species that's very, very close to his heart, and the old cuttlefish down at Sorrento. Liz and John Henwood, they got right amongst the action, dropping their squid jigs in the deeper water and slowly bouncing them off the bottom. And boys, the cuttlefish are becoming one of those things we're seeing pop up in reports more frequently.
How many are we seeing? This is phenomenal. And look, there's been quite a lot of bigger models caught too. I think everyone's just sort of figuring out how to catch them. You need to be right on the bottom, you know, your jigs have got to be down there. And it's just great to see people getting amongst them because obviously there's so many there, so we may as well take advantage of it.
That's right, something a bit different. So from Sorrento, we're going to head down to the Rip, and what's Catch of the Week these days without showing you a couple of kingfish in the Rip? A clear upgrade in size. Malcolm Goff here is with a couple of 90 centimetre kings, which For us down in Victoria, nothing to sneeze at. Great size fish.
Oh, I was a bit worried the other week because we were running this kingfish sale and it looks like the kingfish had stopped, but that's definitely not the case. They've definitely turned up in force and look how big they are. It's phenomenal. We're used to catching 60, 70 centimetre fish earlier in the season. Now they're up around a metre and there's been some fish over a metre, which is
well, this is the thing. We all got used to catching these smaller fish and yet all of a sudden, just when we thought they were all gone, old mate 90 centimetre, there's been reports of fish to a metre. When's this thing going to end?
Photos come in of a metre.
It's been unreal.
I got a feeling the same thing happened last year. We might have just forgotten about it. I think there was a few bigger fish caught last year towards the back end of the season. Maybe it's going to happen the same.
Exactly. Well, hey, fingers crossed, because it's exciting stuff when this thing starts happening.
100%.
So,
Absolutely.
another thing that's featured quite heavily over the last few weeks is the big flathead starting to poke their heads up in Port Phillip Bay again. And young Matty Scarlett, 68 centimetre flathead from Rosebud. How's that for a flatty, boys? Port Phillip Bay.
Sure he's not in the back line for Geelong?
Yeah, there you go. This is life after footy, mate.
That's a good frog. And we've seen commonly this season some bigger frogs. They're not the small, undersized fish that you were used to catching in years gone by. They're good sized fish. You get a couple of nice fillets of them, and you don't have to take many to get a few nice fillets too.
That's right. Cal, what bait?
Well,
lures?
I reckon lures, but obviously this guy's got on bait, probably fishing for whiting or not. But if you want to chuck some big soft plastics around, that's going to get you big flatties for sure.
Nice.
Now, it's really funny how things work in the fishing game. We've gone through the last 3 or 4 months. Hazelwood Pondage has been open, the ballot's going, not too many people got involved, the fishing's been quite tough. We're on the eve of opening Hazelwood Barramundi to everyone at any time, and the reports have come in. Have a look at this from the weekend just gone. 58 centimetre barramundi that come out of Hazelwood Pondage, and let me tell you, that's not the only one. We've only got X amount of spots that we can fill here for Catch of the Week, and this is one of the better models, but some good fish getting caught and open to everyone as of tomorrow.
It's phenomenal fishery down there. I just think, once everyone starts figuring out how to catch the fish, there's so many in there, we're going to see football scores of barramundi caught. I think a lot of people are starting to suss it out, which is really good.
Well, that's the thing, we can start figuring it out now, being able to fish any time. We can all get amongst it anytime, any week, whatever suits us best. We'll start getting patches now.
I think there's a temperature probably been one of the biggest factors as far as targeting these fish down there.
It's such a heated system. If we've had the hot weather, I reckon if the weather cools down, they might turn on even more.
That's right. So good fishing to come at Hazelwood Pondage. Now, Gippsland flathead. It's been happening the last couple of seasons now. These giant flathead are turning up in bigger numbers than we've ever seen. Now that could be, it could be because of the new regulations on putting back the big breeders, and we're only seeing benefits. Have a look at this one from Ning Chan, 76 centimetre dusky flathead from Bem River. This is as good a dusky flathead as you'll ever see.
That's a great fish.
And it's even better knowing that these big girls are going back to reproduce more for future generations.
Look at the colours on that fish. Just it's such a beautiful looking fish too, really healthy size. And I think the important thing too, people are wanting to put these fish back. They're not complaining about, not being able to keep their big girl. They want to put them back and let them breed.
Especially with the cameras nowadays, you can jump in the water, take a good photo.
Exactly.
Hang the photo on the wall instead of hanging the fish on the wall. That's a really good thing.
And with the cooler temperatures that kind of showed its head for a little bit, Sheldon Moroney found in the Goulburn River this beautiful brown trout. These are reports that we're going to see pop up more frequently as the temperature starts to dip.
Yeah, I just drove over the Goulburn on the way down here tonight, and at Seymour, and it's looking really, really good. I mean, we haven't had a lot of rainfall just lately, so what happens then is the water that's fed into it from the bottom of Eildon through that area there, I believe, where he's caught that trout. It's just really nice. You get good clarity in the water, nice levels and all that type of thing. Gives you great access. It's a really good, pretty spot to fish.
Beautiful. And finally, Trelly, it's happened. The Yellowbelly and Lake Eildon have fired up a tad, and Andrew Spalding got amongst it with this beautiful model. I think we should remind him for the next time that he needs to go fishing in the water because it looks a bit dry out there, Trelly.
It's that hot. It curled his hat. Great catch, Andrew. I mean, and this is a type of thing that happens this time of year with the warmer weather. But while he's targeting those yellowbelly, it's you know you got a bycatch of redfin. You even get a bycatch of cod up there at the moment. So all species you can take within the legal sizes, and they all taste great around those sizes.
And it's good to see the Eildon Yellowbelly starting to fire up, because it's been a big thing in previous seasons, and it was a little bit late, but it's finally got there. But that's another huge week for Catch of the Week. If you would like to send in a pic of your Catch of the Week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Coming up, Product of the Week and plenty more on Talking Fishing right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away.
Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down at Tackle World today.
Product of the Week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing.
Welcome back to Talking Fishing. Now, just before we get into Product of the Week, I want you to get involved. Jump on our Facebook page, and I want to hear your thoughts on where David Kramer is right now and what he's doing. We know. So we're going to unveil this as the show goes on, but I want to know where you think he is. Jump onto Facebook. We're streaming live. This is something fairly new to us, so we hope it's working. Fingers crossed. Get involved. Jump on there. Let us know where you think Dave is and what he's doing right now. Boys, Product of the Week. I'm going to keep it very simple again, and we're going to base this around what's happening at the moment. So certain products have come onto the market now which are dead set appealing to the species going off right now. The first one I want to show you is a couple of new products. AFN, who take care of all of our fishing publications in the lovely industry that we work in. Two that have been out of print for a long time, massively popular, and finally back. Cal, Victoria's coastline, Port Phillip Bay. This is the where, when, how, including GPS marks and all the little bits to get you going.
Customers, saying, I'm heading down, to Kilcunda or something that I haven't done a hell of a lot before. It's good to just, show them one of these books. It's got some spots, it's got some tips, rigs, what bait to use. There's heaps in these books, GPS marks that people can use. The novice anglers who want to go fishing and want to catch a fish, these books are fantastic.
Well, we live in a technological age. We know this. But we're fishers. We're as old school as they come. Bit of literature, book on the coffee table, pick it up.
There's nothing better than a hard copy.
We get used to fishing the same places all the time. These books help you broaden your horizons, have a look for things when your spots may be a little bit quiet, or you turn up to your spot and there's 600 other boats on there that got there before you. Open these books, have a read. The experts, Jared Day, Bill Klassen. We speak about Jared a lot. He's done a lot of fishing. Jezza, we love you, mate, and these books are absolutely fantastic. So get out there, have a look, have a read. There's so much more to Victoria's coastline and Port Phillip Bay that you may not be exploring, and it is going to change the way you fish, because the other thing we've become in the technological age is lazy.
Absolutely.
So we want to know the GPS marks.
I'll tell you one more thing though, the books don't run out of charge or reception, so
there you go.
when you're up there,
it's a great
up in the middle of nowhere, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Sure.
The freshwater scene is another thing that's becoming bigger and bigger. Lake Eildon, Murray Cod. Trelly, I've heard places like the Broken River, the King River mentioned more this season than I ever have, and that's where the boys at Stumpy's and the absolute cracking team at Gillies have brought out 4 new colours in their stump jumper range that I'm proud to say are exclusive to us at Tackle World.
Yes.
Because they're colours that are insanely relevant to our fishery. They take some of the popular colours with a bit of a funky twist to keep them modern and to keep those big Murray cod guessing. So Trelly, run us through them, mate.
No worries. Now, traditionally the Murray cod, or as far as the stump jumper goes with Murray cod, it's a great lure for one. So why not start off with a base product that just works? That's the secret to the start. Now, a couple of these colours, if you pointed out their ads, you got that black matte colour.
Yep.
Now that's great for just on dusk and late evening. I mean, that gives a silhouette. So you're thinking of a fish and you're looking up in the air and it's passing over the top of you, so that will do that. The other one you've got there, which is the gold one, which was shown there just before, has got a lot of reflection in it. I think this one's just was a Tiger supporter, I think. I'm not too sure this one. And this one might have been the Mardi Gras. I'm not too sure. But there's a bit of a story behind all those, because what they do, this one's holographic, and it will actually, and if you notice, if you pull a lure like this through the water, just slow beside the boat, you'll get a certain roll and you'll get a certain pattern that just works, and that will silhouette colours and things like that. So, and fish like change. I think they're a bit like us. They like change.
That's right.
They like different colours. So yeah, absolutely. Different size bibs. Work them fast, work them slow. These will swim at all different speeds.
Beautiful. I'm very quickly going to roll through the next one because we have had it on the show before, but this is the Jackson Quiet Beats. And the reason for including this in tonight's show is that, as I mentioned earlier, Hazelwood is just about to open. And the one big surprise packet we're seeing is not just the barramundi, but the Aussie bass that are coming out of those deeper sections. They're all big, they're all cranky, and they've been in a very, very good paddock for a long time, and it's time that we got amongst them. The Quiet Beats becomes that universal lure that you can slow roll in the deeper parts for the barra. If you've got a really stinking hot day, that water's nice and warm already, those fish are going to be in the deeper holes, trying to find the coolest possible water to keep them going. Quiet Beats allows you to do that. And Cal, as we've seen, they're absolutely deadly on bass as well.
Yeah. These are fantastic, and it's such a surprise that we're seeing bass, and they're not just small bass, they're big bass. And they're pretty close to home too. These are going to be great for getting down to those deeper sections, because those bass aren't used to being in such warmer water, especially down here in Victoria. You know, look at Blue Rock Lake. It can be quite cold in the winter. You know, these fish are going to be looking to get down deeper, get out of that, you know, 39 degrees in some parts, I think. So, look, they're getting down there to feed, to escape that. And these heavier vibe style lures are going to be perfect for that.
And don't forget your Yellowbelly.
Yeah, there you go.
Redfin.
And reddies too.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Kingfish, we know they're going nuts, not just in our home waters, but along the west coast, even up on the east coast in Eden, they've been very good. We've taken one of the best and most popular kingfish soft plastics of all time, and we have supercharged them. Ultra heavy duty TT weedless jig head. Now, it's not about snag proofness, it's about getting the swimming action right. All the weight is in the belly of that hook, keeping it straight and keeping it tracking straight and swimming freely at all times. And then we've gone and done something really cheeky. Couple of assist hooks at the back. The hardest things with plastic and high speed plastics like these is the hookup rate's not great. These little bad boys hanging in the tail end are sure to pin that fish in the side of the face, even if it comes up for a sniff. A great way to rig soft plastic.
That's cheating, isn't it?
Not cheating at all. No such thing.
I think with these, like the main jig head is really not effective at all in this aspect. It's
about getting the
purely
action right.
used just to get that action right on the lure. You know, we want it to sink parallel, especially when those kingfish are really flighty. Not just kingfish, tuna too.
Yep.
And so these assist hooks they're going to do all the work on this lure.
Yep.
So that's just a little sneaky one to give us one up on the kingies. We can't talk about the rip without talking about bluefin, and we've found that these little bad boys are walking off the shelves. A very heavy, small jet head, offshore at the moment, filled with small pilchards, small whitebait, and these little things for a southern bluefin tuna are just lollipops. So that's your little jet head, very heavy, as I said. Otherwise, we've all got these as Victorians. We've all got these little squid skirts sitting around in our tackle box. Now they become more relevant than ever. Little barrel sinker in the head, nice 3.0 or 4.0 O'Shaughnessy in the business end. Tow these things around. Southern bluefin tuna, yellowtail kingfish, and you know what? At absolute worst, a 3 or 4 kilo salmon that's been hanging around the heads at the moment. It's making these simple lures, boys, relevant again.
Yeah. I love these, and especially they're a really small lure, but the number one thing is that they're quite heavy in the head. So when you sometimes you'll be down at Portland, I'm speaking from experience here, it can be quite choppy, and trying to get such a small lure to actually stay in the water without jumping out all the time, it can be quite hard. And because these are quite weighty, they do stay and hold in the water really well. As opposed to these, like if you can rig them with a barrel sinker, and they will hold better. But sometimes they're really good in the calmer conditions when the fish are really flighty. You just might be feeding on really small whitebait or whatnot.
If you drag that above a bodied lure, behind that, sinker in the head, the other hook in there, take a scissors and just trim a bit off that to the hook. That's a great stinger for redfin, Ranger Basin, Eildon, Nellacooty, Lake Epilock. Fantastic. Ask us about that one.
See, these are the little things. We talk about this gear and we do this segment every week. Everything is so versatile and universal. Those stump jumpers, tow them around Hazelwood.
Yeah,
they're going to catch as many barra as they do Murray Cod. it's the thinking fishermen. It's those that think outside the square and try everything. They're the ones that get the results. And gear is too good these days.
Last product of the week, we got a special section for David.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Last product of the week, the David Kramer. I think this is very relevant to David not being here tonight. It's the David Kramer product of the week. I think he's going to use a bit of this.
So there's a big hint. Jump on Facebook and let us know what you think he's doing right now. Boys, before we head to the next break, I want to quickly touch on the tuna in the rip. Now, in previous years, it's been rumoured, I've seen one, or there was one caught, or there was a carcass at this boat ramp. They're here.
They're there.
They're in big numbers.
Yep.
What do you put it down to? Because it's a $1 million question.
Sure, it has to be bait fish. Surely, like in years gone by, scientists have said, no, the tuna go around here, go down around Tassie, and there's the odd fish that might cruise through Bass Strait. But it must be the amount of bait fish that they're following, especially into the rip, With that big body of water, if they're cruising past there and that tide's rushing in, the bait are rushing in too. So they've got to follow that 100%. The kingfish are there for a reason. That's why the tuna are there too. Yeah,
it's a funny thing, and I think it's something that just shows the world how good our Victorian fishery is. Now, let me just say, this is not one or two little bluefin. This is something worth targeting. We've got charter boats out there fishing for kingfish and seeing a bit of nervous water or a bit of a bait fish shower here and there, towing a few small lures around like what we just looked at, and getting 4-way hookups. Now, kingfish are unreal, don't get me wrong, but a 4-way hookup on 20 kilo bluefin tuna is just as bad as exciting as it gets.
Absolutely, and it's really common in the last few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and it's a thing. It seems to be getting better. They're hanging around. They've all been isolated reports in previous years, but they're hanging around. The bait's obviously hanging around. The kingfish aren't going anywhere. There's too many options. There's boats heading into the rip going, okay, I'm just going to target kings. Then all of a sudden a bluefin pops up.
That's right, yeah.
You've got to be prepared too, I guess. Yeah.
It's a big thing. So that's unreal. Send in your reports because we'd love to see the photos. Never get sick of that. Up next, fisheries news, including how you can have your say on kayaks being allowed on Devilbend Reservoir. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Now, fellas, a bit of mail just come through on my earpiece there saying that rumour has it that Dave's at home having a bet on the trots. I mean, I thought he'd be watching the show, but...
Well...
It's
better than dribbling in a trough.
Unbelievable. Fisheries news, a couple of little bits and pieces. Lakes Entrance to celebrate food, fishing and tourism. Lakes Entrance will celebrate and showcase the wonderful array of Victorian seafood caught by commercial and recreational fishers and the beautiful places it comes from at the Hooked on Lakes Entrance event on March 12. Member for Eastern Victoria, Harriet Shing, said Fisheries Victoria and the East Gippsland Food Cluster would co-host the day at Lakes Entrance Foreshore Reserve, overlooking the water from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. I love seeing this, boys. We all know that Lakes Entrance is a beautiful part of the world. They want to show everyone.
Absolutely.
And I think this is money well spent.
Yeah.
If you come in to visit Australia or you come in to visit Victoria, Lakes Entrance is just one of those places you've got to go to, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
This is one of those things that are going to prompt that.
That's right. Now, the release goes on to say the event will promote the high-quality seafood caught in the Gippsland region, other local produce and great fishing spots to take the family and wet a line. At Lakes Entrance, visitors can still buy fresh, locally caught seafood direct from the trawler or from the Fishermen's Cooperative. Again, this is great. It's promoting the unity between commercial fishers and recreational fishers, and also giving the local people of Lakes Entrance and abroad a chance to sample some of the finest seafood in the world.
And other produce means wine. Let's get straight.
I like it. Hooked on Lakes Entrance attractions include fish filleting and fish preparation tips from experts, seafood cooking demonstrations including Peruvian Alejandro Severia. Now, he must be pretty good because I can't pronounce his name. who will prepare his signature, whatever the hell that says. It must be pretty good. With bass drag species. Cook-off with local personalities and chefs. Fish care. Come and try fishing clinics for children and families. Always super important. Food stands selling freshly cooked seafood and locally made produce. Winemakers, beer and cider brewers, Trelly, offering tastings and purchase. Hey, we might get another photo of you from this event.
Yeah.
And tables and chairs to relax and enjoy the views with family and friends. So for more information about the event, visit the following website: www.vic.gov.au/Hooked on Lakes Entrance. Now I'm sure we'll put that up on Facebook. I really encourage everyone to get along because it's not just about fishing. It's about supporting local produce, beer and wine, the food, the demonstrations. It's an event. This is not just a day on the green. It's an event. Enjoy it.
You can go along and pick up just little things as far as your cooking, how to get that batter a little bit crispy. Ask the questions, get there, experience it, get your hands dirty, stuff like that. It's great.
Excellent. It's brilliant. Now, this is a good one. I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. Devilbend on-water access for non-powered watercraft. It's been on the front of our minds for a long time. We're almost there.
From the man who travels by kayak.
You know it. Parks Victoria is planning to allow non-powered watercraft, such as kayaks and canoes, to use in a section of Devilbend Reservoir for recreation. Parks Victoria is inviting park users, residents, stakeholders and the broader community to have their say about how this plan for limited on-water access will be implemented, including the area and types of watercraft permitted, as well as the location and type of launching facilities provided. This is great because Parks Victoria want to know what you think. They want to know how you would manage it. They want your ideas so that when they come up with the final plan, everyone's going to be happy because it's all about finding a balance.
Does that include the run down the spillway?
Well, have your say, Trelly. We might be able to get that over the line.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, now, you can email your thoughts and ideas to melbournecommunity@parks.vic.gov.au. A mouthful, but it's up on your screen at the moment. We'll also put this on Facebook. Now, please include Devilbend in the subject line. That's very important. We want to make sure that your thoughts go to the right place. Or, if you want to kick it old school and give them a call, you can contact Parks Victoria on 131963 for further information or to comment. Now that's 131963 or melbournecommunity@parks.vic.gov.au. Now, I for one would strongly urge people to get involved in this because this is how things happen. Let your thoughts be heard. Have a say so that we can come up with the best possible way to open this beautiful waterway because there is some insane fishing. It has been stocked for a long, long time. We've all heard about how the weed beds get in the way of land-based fishing. This gives us a chance to access some of the best fish.
Yeah, and for those who haven't fished from kayak, those who haven't fished from a kayak, the serenity of it and the actual stealth, you can actually pick up more fish.
It's different.
You've got to get out and do it. And if you've got a designated area for that, how good's that?
Have your say.
This would be fantastic. We've got such a good fishery on our hands, but we can only access so much of it. We've got a massive body of water. And I know they're not going to open up to the whole area to kayaks, but the area that they're proposing is still really big.
It's a start.
We can get in front of that weed where everyone complains about this weed, but it's such a good habitat for the fish. We don't want to get rid of the weed because that's what the fish are living in. That's what they're feeding in. We want to approach it a different way rather than casting from the shore into it. We want to get behind it, cast our lures, put our baits out, whatever it is. We're going to catch a lot of fish. There's going to be big trout. Those perch are only getting bigger. And I've heard some rumours of some big reddies and some other things in there too, which we might actually get a chance to catch.
Western Port Whiting Challenge, we've spoken about this over the last few weeks. That is this weekend. Late entries are now available at all good tackle stores. If you don't know about this by now, you've been living under a rock. So please get involved. It is the biggest whiting competition in the state, if not the world. Western Port Angling Club put on an absolute hell of a production for this. David Kramer will be there once he finishes up with what he's doing now. David Kramer will be there presenting all the awards and getting involved. Major prizes. Mako Craft boat with 25 horsepower motor, valued over $8,000. There's a cash prize. Now, the $1,000 out of Paul Worstling's wallet's got to go off this year, and we're going to get to that, so bear with me. There's prizes for the kids. There's kids coming. the whole lot. It's an event. It's not a competition. It's an event. Get involved. Like I said, there is late entries on now, which incurs a small little fee, but I've got the solution for that to you as well. Tomorrow night, Mornington Mazda, the biggest whiting talk night in Australia is taking place, hosted by Tackle World Mornington and Cranbourne. Now, the boys from Western Port Angling Club are going to be there, and they have offered everyone who's already booked, and there's still seats available, so please call tomorrow. They have offered your chance to enter the Western Port Whiting Challenge without the extra fee for being late. FPOS facilities are available, so come down and have a look. The panel includes Captain Steve Johnston from Ace Fishing Charters. He'll be there giving us all of his tips. Sean Fertier, who's an absolute fishing machine. David Kramer will be on the hot seat as well, answering all your questions about Port Phillip Bay whiting. Hot seat. I'll be up there with the microphone asking all the hard questions, and let me just give you a little bit of inside information. I'll be going out of my way to make it as hard as I physically can for David Kramer to answer any questions. So it's going to be a hell of a laugh. There'll be pizza and drink and all sorts of carry on, big raffle prizes. But if you want to enter the Western Port Whiting Challenge and you don't want to pay the little fee for being late, give us a ring tomorrow. Tackle World Cranbourne, Tackle World Mornington, and we will sort you out so that you can come and enter the Western Port Whiting Challenge. And we can also tell you where the winning fish is going to come from. Up next, Kramer's mailbag and plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Little bit of mailbag this week, fellas, and a few comments from Facebook too. Unfortunately,
Really?
not regarding what we think Dave's up to at the moment, but we'll get to that later on.
That's it.
The first one comes from Neil McKenzie. G'day, David, Adam and Trelly. Great to see you guys back. I'm heading down to Lakes Entrance this weekend to have a crack at prawning. Just wondering if yourself and Adam could give me pointers, areas to try, etc., as this will be the first attempt for me. Also, what happened to Trelly's fishing report? Haven't seen one since the 9th of Feb.
Oh.
Let me attack the Trelly one first. Yeah. We're working on it, mate, but you see what we've got to deal with, the photos at the front. It's hard work trying to get him out of hours, so we'll work on that for you, Neil. As far as the prawning goes, listen, not going to lie, tough year on the prawns. There was a few things that happened just in the weather cycles. The entrance at Lake Tyers did open quite early in the season. Unfortunately, all the prawns, or a lot of the prawns, decided to make the jump, and they just all upstick out the front.
Well, that's what they do.
But Liz, who looks after us very well, Tackle World Mornington and Cranbourne, she was up there on the weekend and said the prawns they did get they were better off waiting at Lakes Entrance, just outside of the pub there at Lake Tyers.
As you do.
So you've always got a backup plan if the prawns are a bit slow. But you've really got to pay attention. Normally we're used to this time of year, the prawns all jumping around and doing their thing, and it's literally as easy as putting the net in front of them and scooping them up. Really hone your eye. Get that light, shine it directly on the bottom of the floor, and you'll see their eyes glowing. Give them a bit of a poke with the net, get them up and about. They are there, but it's hard work. I'd still say worth doing. I probably wouldn't be getting the boat out and sitting at the entrance to lakes and doing your thing there. It's been a bit tough, but a lot of them are still buried in the sand at Tyers. If you've never, get out. Well, first time, Neil, it's the most fun you'll ever have. We've got these warm nights still. You don't even need the waders. I would wear foot protection just in case, but get amongst it.
Get the net out before the pub closes.
And or get a couple of travellers and you'll be right. So good on you, Neil, and we'll work on Trelly's fishing report.
I'll have to check his email.
Yeah, I'll pass that on to you. Now, a few Facebook messages. This is always good to see a bit of interaction on social media. Chris Doran. G'day, guys. Can you suggest any good locations to chase up redfin in suburban Melbourne? Trelly.
Oh, suburban Melbourne.
Suburban Melbourne. So any
Now,
reports coming through Laverton or Geelong?
That's actually a really good question, because suburban Melbourne's a really tough one. I know, like Albert Park, right in the middle of town here, there's some great yellowbelly there. We actually get some really good reports of some nice yellowbelly being caught. But redfin is a really tough one. I mean, the Yarra doesn't turn sort of freshwater until it gets up to a certain stage, and we get a few reports from up there.
Well, I think the good thing with the reddies, they've been in a lot of suburban lakes, a lot of golf courses, if you're allowed to get in there, a lot of the residential lakes. They've had reddies in them for years. I honestly think it's a matter of tying on a soft plastic or go and grab yourself some scrub worms.
Yep.
Don't fish too heavy and just have a look around. You'd be surprised at which impoundments actually do have redfin in it.
There is so many suburban lakes that are holding redfin. Any of those housing estates now, those bigger housing estates, have all got lakes in them, you know. And one way to combat getting the mozzies around the lakes is to have fish in there. And look, I don't think they've purposely stocked redfin in there, or if people have been thrown in themselves. But they breed they breed like no tomorrow, and there's heaps in all forms of lakes. You know, closer to home to us, I know there's a few lakes around Pakenham. Casey Fields has lakes. There's a few housing estates around our area, which I won't name any, but I know people get really big redfin out of. It's just a matter of, trial and error, I guess.
Stony Creek, Geelong, there's a few down that way, but I'm sort of talking metro.
Yeah, that's right.
So, bladed lures with red wall in the back as well.
Yeah, Chris, I know we haven't given you a definitive answer on exactly where to go, but there isn't one. Just tie on a plastic, or as I said, tie on a scrubby and have a look around. You'll be surprised at which suburban lakes do have redfin in them. So thanks, Chris. Stan Hughes writes into us saying, "Hi guys, I'm fishing at Mathara Cod Classic next weekend. Any tips? I've got a boat."
Go and see one of the stewards who was there the year before.
Nice.
Actually, up that way has been fishing actually really good at the moment. There's a certain lure, the old mate in a green colour, which has been working excellent up that way.
So generally a trolling event, or
it's a bit of both, because a lot of that area you got that creeks where you got a lot of structure, so you can't actually put a boat in and go too far. But definitely work your structure, definitely work above your structure, and use baits, or use those socks where you put your baits in. And you might be able to crush a yabby's head, put it in, put a barley grub in there, put a big hook through it, and work your baits above each other in the water flow, because the fish will come out of structure. You'll draw them out of the structure with a bit of scent and work them like that. So that's a really good way of fishing up there in that fresh water. Yep. So just enough weight to hold the bottom. Don't drag along the bottom, or if you're retrieving it, high tip it and sort of bring it in so you don't get caught up in structure. But definitely chase your structure. Leave for a little while, and then work the next bit and work the next bit. So yeah.
Beautiful. There you go, Stan. Good luck with the comp, mate. That'll be a good one. Let us know how you go. Sean Megan's another one that got in contact with us via Facebook. And this reads, "Hello, gang. This is a question for either Adam or David on the subject of whiting in Port Phillip Bay. I'm a kayak fisher and spend most of my time around Western Port. Could you tell me a general area to start hunting for whiting between Sorrento and Rye, please? Also, do you sound for areas and fish, or do you have your own GPS marks you return to? I'm starting to note down GPS marks, not to religiously aim for them, but as a starting mark to search. Are there any particular channels or flats I should try in the kayak? Thanks in advance, Sean." Fellow kayak fisher, boys. Watch out.
Kayak friends.
Sean, it's a tough one. I wouldn't rely on GPS marks, and I think what you're doing by recording where you are catching fish as a reference is absolutely brilliant. It's a funny one, Port Phillip Bay, because we have got a lot of shallow structure, which obviously holds fish. The problem with structure, though, it does also hold all the other fish we don't want to catch. Use your sounder to sound small gutters and small valleys. You don't have to go deep. 6 metres, 8 metres, and shallower is a good place to start. Low light, dawn and dusk, always the best on the peninsula. The other thing which the peninsula sports is a lot of moorings. Now, I know David often fishes these as he'll go and do his thing around Mud Island and the Pinnis Channel, and depending on how things go, he'll always stop at the moorings on the way back in and spend 10-15 minutes, and you get a really quick indication of whether those fish are there. Kayak fishing around moorings is absolutely deadly because we have the advantage of being stealth. So it's It's a simple but complicated answer. They are everywhere. Just tune your eye. Don't spend too long on one spot. I think that's a really big thing with whiting, even in a kayak. Be prepared to move, and be prepared to move often. Spend 10 minutes.
Say leader material around
light
pylons and things like that.
Light as you physically can, because we're fishing open water, not much structure, and they are quite a flighty fish. So
it's pretty shallow around those moorings too. So I've done a bit around Sereno and Rye, and I find too when the water chops up a little bit, much the same as the snapper in the area, they will come on the bite. They'll come in closer, you know. So it's something to watch out for. When you've got really calm conditions, they want to push out into the deeper water and might not feed as much. So try when the weather conditions don't suit you.
Or feel a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. Yeah.
Now, we just had a very quick Facebook message from David Kramer saying, "Come on, boys, ease up a little bit. Don't worry, I told him to plug it." If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Coming up next, this week's hotspots. See you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Hello, Richie Minnow here. It's now time for this week's fishing hotspots on Talking Fishing. Madness.
I was just having a look at the run sheet, fellas, and Dave's written down the next segment as hot bots. I don't know what he means by that, but we're going to get into hotspots, everyone's favourite segment. We got to open with the rip.
With David's spot, is it? The rip?
There's too many big kingfish cruising around the rip at the moment not to spend a bit of time on it. So, Cal, run us through it, mate, because it's just out of control.
Oh, look, this is phenomenal. We thought it was stopping, but they're back.
Yep.
You know, and they're back and forth. They're big fish, and we're not. Look, let's not just talk about kingfish. Let's talk about tuna too, because they're big tuna, and we're seeing multiple hookups of tuna while people are catching kingfish. So
great byproduct.
We're getting plenty of reports of guys hooking these fish that they can't stop. Now, we hear this every season, and 9 times out of 10 they're hooking the bottom, but these things are going long and hard and not doing what a kingfish does. Sure, these tuna are eating jigs, I'm sure.
Nothing better than smoking a reel, is there?
Solid sound.
Another one.
Tuna do eat jigs down Portland, down up the East Coast, West Coast, whatever it is. Why wouldn't they eat them in the rip? So I reckon they're there for sure, and they're definitely eating the jigs. What else would it be?
There's no reason why they wouldn't be. So. Now, Western Port Whiting Challenge this weekend, so the next few are all based around whiting, trying to give you the inside information on how you're going to take $1,000 out of Paul Worsling's pocket. Yep. We'll start off with Queenscliff. The proof has been there all season. Though, you know what? I just thought of something. Yep. Don't fish Queenscliff on the weekend because it's the Western Port Whiting Challenge and they probably won't take your entry. But anyway, the boys at Geelong Trellis have been in our ear all week saying the Queenscliff is fishing really well.
Well, we'll pat everyone on the back.
What happens if you launch it, Hasty, go around to Queenscliff and then come back? That's going to catch a big fish. No. Look, I wanted the $1,000 bonus. I was going to fly one in from South Australia because I want Paul's money.
Just look on his face.
But in all seriousness, though, Queenscliff has been one of those spots all year, and it continues to produce. Absolutely. So shallow, sandhole hopping. Yeah. Just have a look. Don't spend too much time on one area. That's right. Area. On a good weekend, you could be dodging a few boats, but it's all part of it. Find burley trail. Keep them around you. There's a lot of bait for them to choose from at the moment. So stay alert, stay active, get the burley going, and you'll have a nice feed of whiting before you know it. Now we'll talk about the Western Port Whiting Challenge, and Tankerton's putting its hand up, just begging for someone to get amongst those shallow, broken ground there and take $1,000 off Paul Worsling.
Some of these areas are fishing phenomenal at the moment. And we just spoke about burley in Port Phillip. I tried not to burley in Western Port this week. We've seen a lot of smaller pinkies around, and as soon as you get that plague proportion of pinkies in the area, those whiting can just shut down. You just got to go into with the mindset of just having a couple of pibbies out, a couple of bits of squid, and if you don't get fish, move. If you want to try and hold those whiting, it's going to be really challenging with the other undesired species, especially with shallow areas. You get your toadies too. So do be mindful of trying not to burley unless you are fishing a little bit deeper.
Tenderise the squid.
Yeah, tenderise it. Yep. Put it in your mouth, just chew it a little bit. Give it a bit of a bash. Tenderising the squid always does work. Nice and soft.
Well, Tankerton's one of those unique spots where you can catch your bait as you're fishing for your whiting. So
you'd be silly not to have a sleeper jig out at the back.
That's right. So Tankerton, write that down because it's going to go off this weekend. Coronet Bay. This is my sleeper, boys. I must say, I saw Coronet on the list here, and I thought,
I think Dave's
got
thinking
big
about
fish.
the Coronet
Close to the entrance. Close to the entrance. It's got big fish written all over it. Somewhere we know the whiting are there, but we don't hear a lot about. I just think this has got winning fish written all over it, so that's my tip for this week.
We don't hear about that sort of area too much for the whiting, but what we do hear is they're bigger quality fish, so definitely a good area to try.
We can't ignore the freshwater because there's more to it than whiting this weekend. Trulli Lake, Parrambeet, we've seen some crazy reports come out of here in the last couple of weeks. Some big Chinook salmon, some big trout starting to move around as the nights get a little bit cooler. How would you tackle Parrambeet?
Well, with this warmer weather, you can actually run your line a little bit deeper. So you can rig up with those little sinkers in line, which will actually pull your lure down a little bit deeper. Some of the longer lures in natural colours have been working well. Working back a little bit, so they're not sort of close to the boat in bits and pieces. So, but it's been producing some really nice fish at the moment. So it's certainly worth a try. Get over there. Even ask the guys around the bank and around the boat ramp.
Yeah, definitely.
It's always we're a little bit sort of too shy in coming forward sometimes at the boat. What'd you catch that on, buddy? People are pretty willing as far as giving away a bit of information.
I've heard some really good reports from there and from customers, and they've actually been getting some really good trout from the bank. Really early morning or late evening, and sometimes if there's a bit of wind in the face, that'll push the fish in a little bit further to the bank. But some guys, land-based guys, doing really well. So you don't have to have a boat to fish Lake Parrambeet.
Speaking of land-based, that probably leads us beautifully into the next hotspot, which is Lake Eildon, because as we saw in Catch of the Week, the Yellowbelly have switched on, which has been a long time coming this season, but they're there. And a lot of the reports that we heard this week come from land-based anglers. What's the go? Any reason why they're so close to the bank, or is it just one of those things?
Yeah, the water level up there is probably dropping a little bit with our irrigation season, but in saying that, Yellowbelly, the bigger the Yellowbelly are, the sort of that, you've got your rod tip and, like a redfin, I just go bang and bite, they're pretty aggressive. A Yellowbelly will actually sort of suck in your bait, and you'll see either a small rod tip movement down, or you may even put a bit of tension on your line, and you'll actually see a small bit of rod tip movement up. Now, what I suggest is cast out, use as little weight as you can to actually get your bait to the bottom. Running sinker I prefer, so give yourself plenty of length, and then pop your rod into a rod holder on the bank, put your bail arm over, put a little bit of resistance on your line, and you'll see the Yellowbelly, the big ones, they'll pick it up and they'll just run with it a little bit. Pick up your rod, flip your bail arm over, and just let them take the tension up, because by that time they've actually swallowed it, they mouth around a little bit, any resistance they spit it, but they'll swallow it in the way they go.
Sounds like snapper fishing to me.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
Yeah, it's a bit of finesse.
So land-based, especially at Eildon, would you say baits work better than lures?
On aggressive fish, your Yellowbelly will just go bang. But look, I think your baits work better than lures because your Yellowbelly is that finicky. Especially for you guys get down here where you fish a bit of brim and that type of thing. You'll often find you guys who go up to area fish really well because you use that technique, which we don't understand because we're sort of more cod fishermen and just pull the lips off them, get around the bank,
tie a bit of string to a tree. And
exactly. So think finesse.
Why can't you have a bait rod out and chuck some lures around too?
Well,
you're allowed 2 rods in the inland waters, so give that a crack.
4.
Yeah,
6.
You touched on why these fish are close to the bank. How often do we go, in a boat cod fishing, Yellowbelly fishing, we're trolling or we're casting our lures to the bank. So, look, these land-based guys are going to just benefit so much.
Another thing to remember is that top level of water is warming, is warm, and that's where your bait will actually come up to rather than casting out into the deeper, colder water.
Now, a couple of quick things before we close the show. Firstly, I think we've painted a pretty clear picture of what Dave's up to at the moment, but he'll be back next week, so we'll ask him in person what he was up to, and let's see what sort of answer he gives us.
Might have painted
something to do with the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, I think he could be onto something there. And Cal, mate, thanks for your time. It's always a pleasure to have you on the couch with your knowledge that you bring to the table, and we appreciate it, mate.
No worries. Very comfortable couch, you beauty.
Oh, you've got your spot marked in there.
I do.
That's it. So, Dave, we look forward to having you back next week, and thanks for letting you keep your chair warm, mate, but my money would be on your chair being a little bit warmer than mine. So, here's to you, mate. Bit of toilet paper around the joint.
On that
so, anyway, that's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Good luck to everyone who's fishing the Western Port Whiting Challenge this weekend, and to those of you attending our big whiting talk night at Mornington Mazda tomorrow, I'll see you there. So will Dave, so will Cal, Charlie. We'll keep you posted. Until we see you next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.